We were in my doctor's office, my obstetrician, and she says, "What are your plans today?" I said, "Oh, we're gonna leave here, we're gonna go shopping, we're gonna go have some food." She says, "No." Starts shaking her head. In that moment, our hearts dropped. She pointed out at 18 weeks, I was 3 centimeters dilated, and that we were on borrowed time. She let me know that we would be transferring to the Antepartum Unit and said, "Welcome to your new home." At that point, fear, nerves, all of the above. What do you do? When we entered, we didn't know how long it was going to be. Weeks, days, turned out to be months, but it was worth every minute. Now my son is almost 2, and he's beautiful. And I know in my heart that I did everything I could to have him here. And I'm proud of that, and I know you can do it too. And just remember, when you don't think you can anymore, remember your goal, stay focused on your prize.
Your plan whenever you get pregnant is you announce it to the family, we found the sex of the baby, we plan the shower and the delivery, and it's done. And unfortunately, probably about 10%, maybe even 15% of families may have to be admitted at some point to antepartum. And in Greek means before partum, delivery, that's what it means. So I want families and moms and dads and other family members to understand that antepartum actually invites them. They're warm and loving, and every person's role and goal on antepartum is the successful outcome of mom and baby. Patients on antepartum are admitted to the hospital for various reasons. Maybe preterm labor, could be premature rupture of membranes, could be relating to diabetes or uncontrolled diabetes, could be related to the fact they may have hypertensive disease of pregnancy, or they may have some other medical complicated problems. My role as a high-risk or maternal fetal medicine specialist is that we concentrate only on high-risk pregnancies. And we sort of are specialists in ultrasound. We're sort of specialists in trying to manage when is the best time for mom or baby to deliver, and more importantly, how long can we prolong the pregnancy?
As far as fears as for being long-term hospitalized in the Antepartum Unit, you always wonder what's going on in the world around you. You're essentially subtracting yourself from your family, from your home, from the rest of the normal world. But at the same time, you know what the possible outcome could be of not following doctor's orders. And you also have to realize, even though this seems like forever, when you look back at it, it's a drop in the bucket for the outcome of a healthy pregnancy.
Coming to a new hospital where you're going to have a team of people that are going to be taking care of you is very frightful. And I think that's in my role as a maternal fetal medicine navigator. I kind of am the person that sees you at the beginning of your admission, and I will be here as a support person throughout your entire stay, from the time you get admitted until the time you get discharged. I help you coordinate any sort of discharge appointments that you might need. I help also any resources that you might need. It takes a team to take care of you, and it's not just your physician and it's not just your nurse. We have additional resources throughout the hospital that can help you throughout your long-term hospital stay. We have social workers that can help you with psychosocial needs, as well as resources that they can provide for you that you may need as far as childcare, emotional support, psychosocial support. We have our chaplain services that are available to help you spiritually throughout your stay here. We have case managements that can work with you, as a lot of patients are concerned about their bill. And so the case manager can work with you to provide some of those resources that may be available to you.
Probably the 2 most common questions that I hear out of patients are, when can I go home? Will the doctor release me? Questions along those lines. Other common questions then, how is the baby? When might I deliver? They're very worried about that. Offshoots of those questions probably always happen.
Some common questions and concerns that we get from families is usually from the younger siblings, and they want to know things like, why is mom in the hospital? Is she okay? It's very scary for them because mom is here, and so we try to kind of talk to them and correct some of the misconceptions that they have about the hospitalization and help them feel comfortable with their mom being here.
In a way, be happy that you're able to do this, that whatever it is that you're going through, they found out, and they know what they can do to prevent premature birth, and that's what we're all in this for. We want to prevent anything that we can prevent. Have fun in your pregnancy. I think that's something that we forget while we're in here. So try and have fun and make the best of it. You know in your heart what's the best for you and your baby and your family. So just embrace that and, you know, think of life. That's all you need to do. It's new life that's coming ahead.
What I would tell dads is be patient. Trust in the system, the doctors, the nurses. The nurses know what they're doing. They're there to support you. They're there for you, for the baby. They're there for the mother.
There are 3 suggestions that I like to make on a regular basis. One is to remember that this isn't forever. I also remind them that they're not sick. Even though they're in the hospital for a long period of time, they have a complication in their pregnancy. So I encourage them to open their blinds and have a schedule every day. And the third thing is, I try to get them to reframe this experience and to think about all the things they wish they had had time to do that they can do now. They can compile a cookbook, they can write to friends, they can practice a foreign language, they can watch their favorite soap opera. Those are all things we wish we had time to do, and you can do them here.
The typical day in the hospital, usually it starts early in the morning. So the doctors usually round early in the morning because most of the doctors go to clinic. They come to the hospital, make sure that their patients are okay, and they plan the day for that patient. Is there any orders that need to be initiated? Are there any tests that need to be done? So they like to do that early in the morning. So they do come in early. The nurses will come in early in the morning, around 7 to 8 o'clock, just to greet you, introduce themselves, and then kind of discuss what's going on during the day. Our patients get vital signs routinely during the day, as well as fetal monitoring. They're going to check to see how the baby's doing throughout the day, and sometimes they'll do it twice a day, and sometimes they'll do it 3 to 4 times a day. Some patients will need to require continuous monitoring on both the baby and your uterine activity pattern.
I felt relief because I have to work every day, so every time that I go to work, I feel like, my wife is in good hands. They are receiving, the good, services, so she's going to be fine.
Some of the things that you might want to do while you're here in the hospital is to personalize your room. Bring things from home that are very comforting. If your pillow is something that's very comforting, a nice warm blanket that you use at home that's provides some comfort to you, bring that with you. Bring family pictures. We can have those, around the room. Bring your laptop, something that you can do FaceTime with your friends and family. And you can also, a lot of people use the laptop to do some work. So if they're, interactions with the business that they're working with, and also extended family members. And another thing is to not just stay in the room. A lot of physicians do allow you to go out for wheelchair rides or short walks, depending on your condition and depending on the doctor's order.
It is a very scary thing to be on any antepartum unit and be worried that your infant is going to deliver early or be born with medical conditions that are going to require a stay in the neonatal intensive care unit. The March of Dimes support program that allows families and encourages them to get together in our support groups truly help to relieve that anxiety. Families have a lot of learning that they can do, both from trained professionals and from each other, and are gratified to hear that there are many babies who are born who do very, very well and go home quickly with their families. The most beneficial part of the program of the Family Support Services was getting to know the other mothers, to know that I'm not the only one that is stuck here. I'm not the only one who has complications. But at the same time, this is still fun, this is still exciting. We're building our family, and to know that we're doing it in a safe place with the best possible outcome for my child, you can't ask for better than that.
One of the most important things I think our hospital does is offer a weekly support group. Patients have to have permission from their doctors. And sometimes patients are hesitant to come because their hair is not the way it normally is, or they haven't had a manicure, or they're in a hospital gown. But if they do come, they leave uplifted. They're so grateful for the support, the normalization of the experience, the validation of their feelings. And they make friends, and they look forward to coming every week back and seeing those same people. And some of them remain friends even after they deliver and they're out of the hospital.
It made me feel relieved because I knew she had a support group. They knew what she was going through as well as the other patients, so that they could actually connect and talk about it and, know the worries, take the worries out of it.
We've also had meetings for the dads, donuts for dads. We've had desserts for dads, where the dads can meet and offer each other support. One of the things we do regularly is a group called Tea Timers, which happens once a week, and women who are able to come, we have recliners so that they can sit reclined, and we do crafts, we have educational experiences, but mostly it's a time to normalize their situation, because most of these women think they're the only ones here, because a lot of them can't leave the room.
One thing, as a mom who's been there, I want you to know, don't give up your pregnancy over a complication. Have your birthday parties, have your baby showers, have your holidays. It's not where you're at, it's who you're with. You don't have to be at home to have a wonderful pregnancy. The hospital, the March of Dimes, are partnered to make sure that your pregnancy is the best possible for you. Don't feel like you can't, because you can, and they're here to make that happen.